Okay, here's another training tape. I've got a lot of positive feedback from the last one, so might as well do another one. Hopefully they're helping you. And as always, don't take any of the criticisms personally to heart. We're all just trying to get better in all of this. A few administrative things before we get into the plays, and there are, I think, 17 plays this week. 3 have to do with false starts, 2 mechanic plays, 2 unnecessary roughness, 8 holding, and 2 blocking below the waist. I'll try to talk a little bit more about the fouls and then mechanically who should be able to see those fouls based on the progressions of the plays. Um, I went a long time up talking about unsportsmanlike and unnecessary roughness last week. Please make sure you know the difference between an unsportsmanlike and an unnecessary roughness. If it is a non-contact foul, verbal taunting, anything of the nature, it is unsportsmanlike conduct. However, if there's any sort of physical contact or confrontation or anything like that between players, it is an unnecessary roughness. I saw a few reports come through with talking about slamming opponents off the ground, and you gave them UNSs, and that's not the case. So make sure we administer the rules properly, because there is a difference between when we disqualify someone between an unsportsmanlike and an unnecessary roughness. So do a little bit reading in the rule book this week before your game. I did make a mistake, and thanks to Mark Estemeyer last week, on the clock on blocked field goals. So if on a blocked field goal, if it was third down, if A recovers it behind the line, the clock continues to run. So thanks to Mark for pointing that out to me. And again, if you feel I make a mistake on rules, please email me. I'm not as in tune with the rules as you are. Finally, knee pads. I think you've seen the email going out about knee pads. This is a perfect opportunity for you to do this. All of your knee pad policing in pregame. Okay. I understand sometimes when players go to jump, pictures can be taken and the knee pads can be above the knees. I'm looking for them as they stand on the field. Do they cover the knees? Yes, then we're okay. Okay. What I don't want happening is all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, the last drive of the game, we decide to take out the best player because his knee pads are above his knees, and we haven't policed that the entire games. So when you're walking around the field before the game, go around, take your card, make a note on numbers. Number 15, number 12, and number 3 have knee pads above their that aren't covering their knees. Walk over to the coach before they go in, or walk over to the coach as you're going to get to the team and say, "Hey, coach, these 3 players, you need to talk to them about their knee pads. Get them below their knees. We don't want to have a problem later." That way, you've talked to them already about it. The last thing they really want is surprises in those situations. And like I said, don't wait till the end of the game to enforce it, because what's going to happen is that coach is going to tell you and tell me that that player's knee pads have been like that all the game. You should have talked to him previously about it. And I know we'll sit there and we'll hang our laurels on the sportsmanship message and the players being properly equipped. I mean, we like to hang our hats on that, but in the end, it's all, we should have handled that early. Okay. Um, and last thing on, I talked a lot about UNS and UNRs last week. It's not that I don't want you to throw them. It's that I want you to follow a process, and then if the process takes you to throwing a flag, then we throw a flag. I'm not trying to discourage us administering and adjudicating and following the rules of the game. I'm trying to instill in all of you a process to follow, that if you follow the process and it leads you to a foul, we throw it. If it leads you to a warning, you warn. So that's the mentality that I'm trying to teach with all of this. All right, the first 3 plays, we have to talk about our false starts. Okay, and my philosophy on false starts are, if the snap happens, if the player moves and it's within when I call it a tick or two, when I slow the play down of the ball moving, then I'm okay with us passing on those types of false starts, because sometimes you'll have that left guard or right guard who's pulling rock back maybe 1/4 of 1 second prior to the ball being snapped, and we'll sit there and throw a false start. Probably by the letter of the law we're right, but I'm going to tell you this: you're going to be wrong more than you're right on those situations, because a lot of times those guards are pulling and they're just timing the snap good, and they beat the rest of their players, but they don't beat the ball. Okay, flinches. A flinch is a flinch. We got to get those. I don't want to say that if the player flinches and the defense does not react, it is not a foul. That's an act that simulates the start of a play. So we would like to have those flinches called false starts. Okay, so we're going to look at the left guard here, and what we'll see is he flinches, right? And let's run it back, look at it again. The left guard flinches. I mean, he even knows. Look at him. Watch, he flinches right there, and he looks around. He knows he did something. Umpires, put yourself in a situation where you can see. Oops, let's get my better drawer out. These three players, because those are your responsibility. We can't hang our hats on the line of scrimmage officials trying to see guards and centers flinching. Okay, so I'll run it one more time. That flinch right there is just enough for a false start and should be called. Excuse me. Next, we're going to look at the left guard here. This player right here. Watch what happens here. Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong here. So what we're going to do, look at the 21 and watch this player here who 21 trades across, and then we look at this player. This is where we should have 2 flags for a false start on this play. And one should be coming from the wing official, one should be coming from the referee. So the ball's not set. He's moving forward right there, and he moves forward. I know by technical rule, this guy moving forward is an illegal motion. This guy probably, we have 2 guys moving, it's a legal shift. What I'm telling you to do in a play like this, just shut it down and call it a false start. Okay, no one's going to say anything, and I would rather this way because 21 kind of goes forward pretty quickly, and then this guy walks forward. Just shut the play down for a false start. There's a plethora of other fouls you can call. You could call illegal motion. This guy's moving forward at the snap. This guy's moving forward at the snap. We have 2 men moving at the same time. But this play, let's just shut it down and call a false start in this situation. But referees should be looking at these 3 people right here. Line of scrimmage people, they're officiating this tackle, staring at the ball, and then out of the peripheral, officiating the wide receivers on this play. So you should be able to see these guys moving forward. Bang, false start. Let's stop it right there. All right. This next play, I think, is the one where I was talking about the left guard. We're going to look at left guard or left tackle. You see that flinch? That's enough for a false start. And we properly shut it down. Run it by again. Flinch, false start. And the issue that I have here is the referee gets the false start on this. I would hope, excuse me, I would hope to think that flinch is that the umpire should see it. So umpires, some of you are still lining up at 10 yards. We got to get 8 yards deep, and we got to be able to see the center and both guards and the ball. And this is how I officiate a line of scrimmage official. I stare at the ball and I let my peripheral help me officiate false starts or encroachments. Okay, so if the umpire, I would stare at the ball so you're directly looking at the center, and then officiate the both guards in your peripheral for your false start. So last time, left guard, boom, false start. When the play happens like this, let's try to run in and kill the play a little bit quicker. Okay, next we're going to get into a play about mechanics, and mainly crossfield mechanics. And if you're not familiar with crossfield mechanics, what I mean is the play is going to happen, the end of the play is going to happen somewhere up here. Okay, and this line of scrimmage official, the head linesman, I believe he already shifts downfield. And if he doesn't, he gets caught in an area where he's going to have a tough time getting this. So right here, let me rewind it back. So we have a fumble, and he does a good job beanbagging this fumble, right? Fumble. And here's another thing that we have to be aware of, okay? We have a handoff, and if we deem number 21 to have possession of the ball, which he doesn't, if he pitches it forward to a number 11, we need to have the play killed for an incomplete pass, because that is a forward pass. And the only person I'm going to tell you right now is going to see that is this person right here. Okay, he's going to be the only person to be able to judge that forward or back, whether that's forward or backwards. Okay. So here we have a situation where we have a fumble, and the head linesman, excuse me, sorry about this. The head linesman is just sitting there trying to get the players, and there's a lot of players going on up here. This is a perfect scenario where we get help from our wing at the bottom of the screen. He comes in and he L's off, and he makes himself, he puts his hand way up in the air and says, I have your spot. Because the head linesman, what he's doing, and the umpire, they have a lot going on in here. They have a lot of blue players in an area where there's a lot of white. Okay, so we got to make sure, and especially we have a fumble down, so we could have fighting for the ball or a lot of issues. This is where this guy at the bottom of the string can come in and do Crossfield Mechanics. So if you get on your row 2-0, and the umpire comes in, picks up the ball, and he's turning in, you say, hey, umpire, I got your spot. Look across the field. He'll come in, just set the ball down right here, and we'll move on from there. So, but that's a lot of times in situations, especially when there's forward progress where a running comes up the field and gets driven back, the person who has the best view of the spot is this person at the bottom of the screen who can help out with the spot, and not the person who is right in front of the spot. Something that I feel that we really need to clean up is our awareness, head linesmen and line judges, excuse me, our goal line awareness. Okay, so here we are, we're snapping the ball at the 1 yard line. And we should know that our first steps, or sorry, we're at the 2 yard line. We got to get to the goal line. We can't just, oh boy, it's time to get to the goal line. First off, we're going to want to start. I know your toes are on the white. I think your heels should be back on the dotted line, because all you have to do is slide down here. But you talk about it in your pregame. Talk about it with your field judge or side judge. Whenever you tell them to go to the back pylon like he's doing right there, that should be the light bulb that goes in your head that when I tell him to go to the back pylon, I got to get to the goal line. So just talk a little bit about that in your pregame and move forward from there. All right, this next play, we're going to talk about unnecessary roughness and on forward progress plays. So here's a situation. We have a game, so the quarterback's forward progress is stopped right here. And we should start blowing the whistle now. And the people who should blow the whistle are the head linesman and the line judge, because they are the ones responsible for progress. So we get on the whistle right now, and then what do we have after the play? We have them slam down, and we have a flag for unnecessary roughness. And I totally 100% agree with this foul, okay? Because that throw down right there is totally unnecessary. His forward progress is stopped. He didn't need to throw him to the ground like that. And this is a good job by the referee to recognize that and throw it down. I want to add one more thing to this, and it's not a popular opinion, but it's how the rule was worded and how we'll work it. Let's say, for instance, on this throwdown, the quarterback's helmet comes off. Well, still that quarterback has to leave the game, okay? Because there was not a helmet foul, hands to the face, a face mask that caused that helmet to come off, okay? So that quarterback still has to leave the game, even though there was a foul and the helmet came off. The helmet coming off was not a direct result of the foul, such as a face mask or a illegal hands to the face here. But this is a good job here, getting on our whistles, blowing the play. I'm sure it was not a popular call, but it was one that had to be made. All right, so let's contrast that play. Let's look at this play, okay? Here's a situation. Again, forward progress is stopped right here, okay? He starts driving them back. Now, listen, I understand that we have game control fouls and such like that, but look at the force of this throwdown compared to the previous force of the throwdown. Okay, yeah, he puts him to the ground. It's not terrible. But again, I understand why the flags were thrown on this play. Like, you know, look at the score. The team, it's a little bit lopsided. There could have been a lot of chippiness in the play. So, like I said, I understand why we threw this flag. But if let's just say this is the first play of the game, I'd totally be fine with us just not throwing the flag and going and talking to number 9 and saying, let's just calm down a little bit. And the other thing, if I don't know if you catched it, but look at number 55 in the white. He gives a little bit of a shove to number 9. So I know it wasn't a direct result of the throwdown, but he could have knocked him off balance and threw him down. But either way, I'm fine with the flags on this play. But let's just see if the force is enough to throw down a player for a unnecessary roughness. All right, next we're going to get into our holding part. Look, we're going to take a look at, and we're doing a better job with holding. But again, I can't tell if we're deciding to pass on holds or if we're just not seeing the holds and properly throwing the flag on them. So we're going to look at this first play, number 77, right here, the right tackle here. And I'll let the play real quick. And you could see right there, he throws the player to the ground. Okay, and let's get it again. You see that it's not a push down, it's a twist and throw down to the ground. Actually, I had the wrong number. Did I have the wrong number? It's 67, I'm sorry. It's the center. I apologize. So we're going to look at the 67, who's the center, who is the umpire's key. But at this situation where whenever right off the snap, he's getting bull rushed, and right here he's beat. And I could see the umpire's eyes are over there. Umpires, just be a little bit more patient and put your eyes on the center here, because look at, he's beat right away and he gets thrown to the ground, okay? And that is enough for a foul. Next, I want you to look at on the same play, I want to look at number 5. Okay, our antennas should be up, and I can see right here the line judge is looking right in here. Potential blindside block, right? You're thinking in your head because he's lining up a guy. He stops and hits the guy in the chest, which is totally legal. The blow is, you can say it might be forcible, but he's just standing there protecting himself at this point. He's not delivering a blow. He's setting like a pick, like in basketball. So I'm fine, and I'm perfectly glad that no flag on this play was called for blindside block. All right, let's see if I can get the right one on here. This is a double whammy play, so this is a good one. So first we're going to look at, there's 2 players we're going to look at here. First we're going to watch the foul here, this blocker here, and then we're going to look at the tight end. Okay, so let's look at the block by number 4. And when you have situations like what number 4 is going to do, he's like a pulling guard. Okay, so he's running, he's not under control, and he's responsible for someone who is either running upfield or who's going to jet back towards the ball to make a tackle. So a lot of times what's going to happen with number 4 and also pulling linemen is they're going to overrun their block. So when they overrun their block, they reach back and then they pull the defender and twist them to the ground, which happens here. Overrun, pull, spin, he just tackles them. Okay, so that's a flag for holding right there. Okay. Next, we're going to look at this block by number 12. So right now, if I'm the wing guy, I'm looking right at this block because he is the block that I'm looking at. The person that could see this block by number 4 is the referee, because he came across, he started on the one side of the quarterback, and he is starting to lead to the point of attack. So watch that block by number 12. He has good feet, and then he shoves. Is the shove in the back? Well, it's probably. However, let's play this back a little bit. He starts his block in the front. Engaged, 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 and he pushes in the back. That is not a block in the back. For that to be a block in the back, we would have to see clear disengagement by number 12 and then a shove in the back. Just because the guy beats him doesn't mean that that's a hold. I mean, that doesn't mean that that's a block in the back. Okay? Next play, we're going to look at this matchup at the top of the screen. And we're also going to talk about the side judge mechanics at the top of the screen. So right away, we have a pitch back. And when we have a pitch back like this, I would like to see either the head linesman or the line judge punch backwards because to signify I have a backwards pass. So right here, he is beat to the inside. Right here, this blocker is beat to the inside. So the only thing he can do is keep his hands on him and push him where the defender wants to go. So what happens here? He just pushes him where he wants to go. Perfectly legal block on that situation. And this is a good job by this crew for not throwing a flag. Now, I can tell that this side judge right here is totally engrossed on this block, and it's an important block. Just get a little bit depth quicker, because by the time you realize it, you're not really officiating the play and you can get yourself hurt. So just try to recognize that a little bit earlier, and that'll help you officiate this play. This play, we're going to look at the left guard. So talk about indicators, okay? Indicators are, as I showed in the first play with the center, a blocker getting beat. The indicator we have right here is an outside grab, outside grab, outside grab. Now, if we have an outside grab here and this left guard just drives him this way with that outside grab, we're fine, okay? But so step 2 is of this indicator, the feet of the left guard stop. So he has 2 strikes against him. So once this runner gets about here, he better let go. And we all know, those of us who've played football and played defense, none of us can make a tackle with our back. So watch what happens here. Feet don't move, holds on. That's enough for an offensive hold. Okay? So what happens here? This is right at the point of attack. So I would hope, especially with the referee on this side of the screen, that's a guard. We're going to have eyes by the umpire on that. Right here, I'm sure we have the eyes of the line judge right here who's officiating that key matchup right here, because there's a potential for a block in the back here. But once he gets to about here, we should be okay. It's going to be a tough transition for the line of scrimmage official to get there, but they may or may not be able to see that too. So umpires, that guard in center is your baby. That's enough for a hold, for a grab and restrict. Next, we're going to look at the wide out at the bottom of the screen. And this is the field judge's key on this situation. So here we go. So what do we have here? Outside grab. Number 2, what happens here? The defender is beating the blocker. Okay, so we have 2 strikes. Let's get to the hole. Let's get to the grab again. So the only thing that this player can do now, this blocker, is shift his butt here and drive him that way for it not to be a hold. So let's watch the end of this. He's grabbing. He just doesn't ever let go, and is enough for a holding foul, and we get this. So as this play develops right about here, the eyes of the line judge should go here. The eyes of the field judge are already here. So we should have 2 people officiating this matchup right here. Right there, it becomes a hold and is called back. All right, next we're going to look at the slot guy. This person right here. And I hate when my supervisor does this. This one, the film isn't good enough, so we'll talk about the play. So right here we have a block. So if this runner cuts up here, he's in good position. If this runner decides to go outside, then this blocker needs to work his butt so that he is in good position and then drive the runner. So we have one indicator with an outside grab to go here. So let's watch this play. So it looks as if the defender has beaten him. He's trying and he's getting restricted right here. Okay, if that's what happens, referee throws a foul, we got a good call. However, 23 also works his butt around, but he may have worked his butt around because he had a grasp of the defender, and I think that's what we have here, and I believe that's a good call by the referee to get that hold. The other person on this who should see this is the line judge here. That is the only matchup right now you are officiating. You shouldn't be watching the runner. That runner is not threatened. The umpire is working all this stuff back here, so is the head linesman. So wings, let's not ball watch on this. The other thing I want to talk about is the beginning of this play. So we have two people here who are standing upright, and then they decide to squat as somebody goes in motion. Okay, I'm glad that the foul wasn't called for an illegal shift. To me, their feet are set, and then their feet are set, the guy goes in motion. Okay, I would talk to the coach about it. Now, I'll add one more thing to it. If they go into a three-point stance, then this becomes a foul for an illegal shift. Okay, so there's a slight difference right there. Right tackle on this play. Right tackle, see, he's going out to block the linebacker. He's beat. Now we're looking for, he reaches. Slight grab. I felt the defender ran through it. I'm really fine with the no call for a hold right there. Because I don't know if he falls because of the grab or falls because of his left arm pushing him to the ground. So if I'm going to side with the crew here and say he fell because his left arm was pushed him to the ground here. Next we have with this situation, we have a defensive pass interference called in the end zone. Let's make sure there's clear restriction. I see that there's shirt grabs right here. Actually, this is a good call for pass interference, and I'm glad we called it. We had a shirt grab. We can't let shirt grabs like that go. So good call for defensive pass interference on that play. Last one in the holdings, I'm sure you're tired of me talking about holds, is the left tackle. Right here. Let's go through it. So inside grab, he gets beat right here, and you know darn well this is the point of attack. And I would hope that the wing is staring with this. So 55, if I'm looking at this play, a lot of times when you officiate this stuff, I start to officiate the defender. Because if the defender can break free, then he's not being restricted. But the defender here gets pulled totally away from where the ball carrier is going. And that's enough for a hold on that situation. So we have the indicator, grab, and then look what happens. A lot of times, especially, with bigger offensive linemen, they don't have good feet. So once they stop their feet, they're already, and they're grabbing on. The only way that they're not going to hold is if they don't let go. And this is what this left tackle does. He doesn't let go. He falls forward and pulls the guy down with him. So that's enough for a hold for an offensive takedown. All right, last two plays are block and below the waist. And I can't remember if I put this on last week or not, but I will anyways. We're going to watch this player here, and we're in punt formation. And we can't relax on punt formations here because we got to assume that every play is a fake. Watch what that player does. Comes across, blocks below the waist, and then it actually springs the runner to get the first down. So we should know the rules by now. Blocking below the waist can only occur immediately at the snap on the line of scrimmage. Once the ball leaves the zone, there is no blocking below the waist, and there's obviously no blocking below the waist by backs that are in the backfield. Okay, another situation here for blocking below the waist. This number 11, watch what he does. He stops and decides just to go low because he doesn't want to take on the defender. And that is also enough for blocking below the waist. So let's just keep our eyes out on this for blocking below the waist. But all right, that's about a half an hour. That's enough for it now. If anybody has any questions on this or anything they want to see going forward, please let me know and I'll be glad to put it on. And good luck in your games this weekend.